Hello lovely friends, Happy New Year, yay, we're in a new year. Welcome to 2024, a year in which I hope many of you will give a bit of attention to your finances. Oh, I want to move my leg. Yeah, let's get our finances under control. Let's try and spend a bit less, let's try and save a bit more, let's try and pay off some debts. I am going to talk in the next video slightly more at length in terms of my own budget, how I budget, how I'll be budgeting for this coming year, savings, basically all things money. But today what I wanted to start with, I'm sorry, just out the corner of my eye, I've got one of my water drink bottles turned upside down, balanced on the end of my radiator. I was thinking, is it safe there? Yeah, I think it's safe there. Yes. Today I'm going to address a couple of questions. They're kind of almost the same question, but I think they are my most frequently asked questions. I get asked these two questions all the time, over and over and over. So yeah, let's address them. The questions are, one, how do you not spend? And the other one is, how do you resist temptation? And every time I get asked those questions, you know, there's a bigger, fluffier, more convoluted answer. But in a nutshell, it's because I don't have the money to spend. It's easy not to spend when there's no money in your purse. However, it is a little more nuanced than that, because I do have a bit more money than I allow myself each week. When I don't spend it, I save it, and more of that when we come to my budget for the year. You know, all my life, I grew up in a poor family. I was used to doing without, and then throughout my life, in terms of work, I've never had very well paid work at all. So I've always had to manage on little, and I've always had to budget. Excuse me, I've always had to have quite a strict budget. Even when I've been in paid work where, you know, it's a regular salary, I get sick pay, I get holiday pay, all those kind of things. It's still a relatively small amount of money, and because I'm on my own, I have to pay for all the bills on my own. And even though I get a bit of discount on some of my bills for being a solo occupant, I only get a 25% discount rather than a 50% discount for the fact that there's not another adult here. So because of that kind of, so it's, you kind of have to take someone's history into account, that I've always had to pay all the bills, the mortgage, everything on my own. Never had jobs that have been, you know, terribly well paid. I always felt like I had enough. That's not a complaint, but you know, it's sort of, you know, £2,500 a month, whereas, you know, friends were earning £4-5 grand a month, whatever. So it's the habit of a lifetime to not spend. And now, of course, even more so than ever, now that I have such a really, really tiny income, I always have to think of my immediate needs and the bills and all those things that need paying, food and what have you. But I'm always thinking about longer term needs, like, you know, emergencies, like the washing machine breaking. The washing machine delivery and installation cost best part of 500 quid. Now, some months I'm only making 600 quid. So how on earth do you manage a big ticket item like £500 for a washing machine when you're only earning £600? It doesn't add up, does it? No, of course it doesn't, unless you are really strict all the time and are always putting a little bit into savings. So, breaking it down for me, how do I resist temptation? I don't put myself in the line of temptation. I don't go to shopping malls. I don't go to shopping high streets. It's simply not a habit. I know for some it's almost a sport, isn't it? Every Saturday, go to the shops, go window shopping. I just don't do it. because I realise there's no point in me doing that, because I don't have the money to buy the stuff, and I don't want to see stuff that's pretty that I think, oh, I'd love to have that, I can't have that, because that puts you into a really negative place of I can't have. And the way I budget for myself and the way I live, I don't think of myself as doing without. I don't think, oh, poor me, I can't have the nice things, I can't have the pretty things. I don't think like that at all. I think, wow, I look after myself, I'm doing all right for myself, I'm happy, yay. So this is not about a life of doing without, not by any means. It's simply just not buying stuff that I don't need, because ultimately so much of what we buy is stuff we don't really need, which comes back to my mantra that I'm always sort of handing on to people is, if you're looking at something, if you're touching a frock in the shop, if you're picking up an item, even if it's a £1 item in a charity shop, remember, we look after the pounds, the pennies look after themselves, or the other way around. Even if it's just £1, if you're holding that item, looking at it, ask yourself, do I really need it? 9 times out of 10 the answer is going to be no, you don't really need it. So put it back and walk away. So for me, I resist temptation by not putting myself in that situation in the first place. So for instance, buying books, I love buying books. I look in the charity shops, of course. When it comes to new books and new bookshops, I don't go into them very often at all, because I know that I'm going to want to spend a load of money. So I just don't go there unless, for instance, I've been given book tokens for my birthday or Christmas, I've been given a bit of Christmas money, then I might say, I've got 30 quid to spend. I'll go into a brand new bookshop and I can buy maybe, these days, 2 or 3 books. Excuse me, but otherwise I just don't go there. What else have I written down? So just don't go to the places where there are things that you might want to buy. You know, country fairs, all these things, you know, like in the UK in the summer we have some fantastic country shows. I love our country shows. For me, I'd rather just go and sit on a hay bale and watch the horses being brought into the ring that are being shown. I'm just thinking of that show up, is it Egmont in Yorkshire? Oh, I'm trying to remember now, they have a fantastic show. But yeah, I'll go and watch the heavy horses being shown, rather than go into all the tents where the crafts are with beautiful things to buy. Just resist the temptation. The other thing is that budgeting is essential, I think, in terms of, you know, how do you not spend? How do you resist temptation? It's all about the budget. I have a weekly allowance, and I will go into this more when I do my budget video, but I have a weekly allowance and it's not big. It's £35. That's it for the whole week. That has to cover my food, clothing, travel. It covers everything, but also from that I then pay postage on parcels which are being sent. So if I've had an order from the shop, excuse me, I'll use that money for posting the parcel. I try about once a week to go out and about looking for new items for my shop. I was trying to think about this and I was looking at my accounts and figures. I reckon I spend about £10 a week on new items for my shop. Now sometimes that might be 3 or 4 items, great. Sometimes it might be just one item that's £10. I think I bought a beautiful tablecloth once. I bought it for £10, did a lot of care on it, and then sold it on for, I don't know, £14 or £15. So it's not a huge amount of profit, but it's a bit of money to keep me going. So the point is, yeah, I've got £35 in my purse, and that's got to last a week. So even if I did see something gorgeous, let's say I was out and about and I saw a really lovely old chest of drawers. I mean, I wouldn't do it here, but when I move I'm going to need to buy a chest of drawers because all my wardrobe and everything's built in. If I saw a lovely chest of drawers for 30 quid, this is how my mind would work. Do I really need it? Is the first question. Well, when I move, the answer will be yes, I do really need some drawers to put my clothes in. And then I'd ask myself, do I think that's good value? And I might look at it and think, yeah, that's a bargain, 30 quid for that lovely chest of drawers. And I have a look and there's no woodworm and all the runners appear to be fine. It's in really good nick. There's no signs of any damp or warping. And I think, wow, 30 quid's a bargain. So in that sort of circumstance, I will say, yes, I'm going to have it. And that leaves me just 5 quid for the rest of the week. So that's my food budget. So I have to be really canny about my food shopping. It might be a week when I don't really need to spend much on my food shop. It might be a week when I was needing to spend quite a bit more. But I'm not going over the 35 quid. That's it. So even if I am tempted, I'm going to think to myself, let's say, because the chest of drawers I actually do need, let's say it's a dress, a nice summer's dress, and it's in a charity shop, but they've got a price tag of 25 quid on it. The charity shops have gone so expensive around here. I look at it, I think, it's really lovely, I'd really like to have it, but at 25 quid, that's only going to leave me with £10 for the rest of the week. And I know I've got a bus journey, I know I've got to go to the doctor's on the bus, that's £3.30, and I need to get, I need some oil for cooking with. That's always an expensive item. On those occasions, I'm just going to walk away. I'm not going to buy the dress. If it's still there the week later, maybe. So yeah, don't put yourself in the line of temptation. Don't go to shops. Don't go window shopping. Once you've got something if you find yourself in a shop and you're looking at something, ask yourself, do I really need it? But the big thing is that budget. If you've only got 35 quid in your purse for the whole week, don't fritter it because you need it to buy your food. So the big thing for me, and it comes back to this budget thing, is, like I say, I don't feel like I live without. I eat food that I like. I'm comfortable in my home. I have enough clothes I'm warm enough. I could do with another couple of summer tops, I think. But anyway, I'm perfectly happy like this. But it is tight, and it's particularly tight because at the moment, every single penny is going towards that goal of moving house. And maybe I'll talk about that more when I come to my budget video. But what I wanted to talk about for some of you is thinking in terms of, if you get to the end, let's say you are waged, even if it's low waged, or let's say it's a smaller fixed income like a pension, for example, and you find that every month you're getting towards the end of the month and you're running out of money, then yeah, it's time to have a good hard look at where your money is going. Do your budget, covering it in the next video. And if you've done that and you think, well, I should have 200 quid a month to spare, have I done any maths? I made some notes, I haven't done any maths. Let's say it's like you're like me and you think, I've got 150 quid a month after I've done all my bills, and even say after your food shopping, include your food shopping, I've got £150 left. That's 35 quid a week. So either give yourself 35 quid a week in cash at the start of the week, put it in your wallet, or actually if you're more concerned that you're trying to save up for something, you're trying to pay off some debt, put that 150 quid straight into savings as soon as you've been paid and make do on the rest. Hang on a tick. I was thinking about this in terms of, preparing for this video. That 100 quid a month, that elusive 100 quid. 100 quid a month equates to £23 a week. Now, that doesn't seem like much, does it? We're coming right back to how do you not spend? How to resist temptation? I'm willing to bet that most people, especially if you're going out of the home and going out to work each day, if you were to put £23 in your purse on a Monday morning, probably by the following Saturday there would be nothing left in your purse and you wouldn't really have anything to show for it. It's like, where did that 23 quid go? A takeaway coffee on your way to the station in the morning, maybe 2 takeaway coffees that week. Maybe there was that lunchtime when a colleague said, oh, let's go to that coffee shop and have a coffee or a tea or whatever it is. So you went out and had a coffee one lunchtime. Another lunchtime you bought a sandwich because you've left your lunch on the side in the kitchen at home, or you weren't organised enough to even make a packed lunch in the first place, so you buy sandwiches while you're out. Maybe you're coming home on Thursday evening and think, oh, I'm so tired, I can't be bothered cooking. You pop into the supermarket and get a ready meal to eat that evening. Maybe on Friday night you feel, I'm really, really tired, I deserve a treat. I'm going to go and pop into the takeaway on my way home, and you get yourself a nice curry meal of some sort. Maybe there was a morning when you were waiting for your train because you commute into work, train's delayed by half an hour, and you just wander over to the newsstand, and the next thing you know you spent £5 on a magazine, which probably by the time your train arrives you flicked through, you leave on the seat. In other words, by the end of the week, that 23 quid has just been frittered. It's just frittered on nothing. You might be okay with that. And listen, I'm not talking to people who don't mind. Obviously, this is for people who are trying to find ways to not spend or ways to save and all that kind of stuff, paying down debt. Yeah, that 23 quid frittered away, that represents £100 a month. If, from your pay packet, you'd put that £100 straight into savings rather than that 23 quid a week in your purse, by the end of the year you would have £1,200 in your savings, plus a bit of interest, and interest rates are going up again now, so great for savers, for mortgage people. So yeah, £1,200 at the end of a year. That is probably, I don't know prices these days, but that's probably a half decent holiday. That could be a whole new wardrobe, as in the clothing, or a brand new wardrobe, the actual item, or, you know, at long last, a new fridge freezer that you've been after, a new computer, whatever it is, you could have something really solid at the end of the year, just for want of not frittering 23 quid a week on takeaway coffee, takeaway sandwiches, an occasional magazine, a takeaway meal. I don't think it's difficult to do. But in fairness, you know, I've been doing this a long time. You know, it's almost a no-brainer to me. And as I was saying with my treats for a tenner, I almost find it hard now to spend, because I think, no, I need to save it. I save it for a reason though. You know, the bottom line is everything, you know, within this household, all the responsibility falls on me. So I do need to save rather than fritter. I do need to save rather than spend, so that when I do really have to spend, like on a new, it's behind me, on a new washing machine, I've got that money there to do it. And for instance, the other day, at the end of New Year's, I was talking about time, this elusive thing of time, and trying to create more time. One of the things I've decided going into this year is I now need to buy a new computer. I've been putting it off for ages, but my computer is now so painfully slow that it's actually robbing me of my life. So for instance, the last 3 videos I made, from the moment where I take, like obviously you're all in my camera right now, I take the card out of my camera and I put it into the side of my computer, and from that point to the moment when that video is now ready on YouTube for me to press the go live button, that has been taking between 12 and 16 hours for those last 3 videos. That is ridiculous. And it's not stuff where I can just let the computer do it and I walk away. The computer's freezing and crashing, so I'm having to reboot, start all over again. It's wasting precious time. So yeah, that's why it's easy for me to not spend, because I know I need to be able to look after myself in the future. And one of those things is to get the new computer so that I can do my work more quickly and therefore free up time to do other stuff. You see, I told you there are wheels in motion. There are plans for this year being a year where I actually get to relax a bit more, maybe even have a day off at least once a month, ideally once a week. So yeah, there we go, in a nutshell. Have I missed anything out? I'm sure I haven't. Like I said, I think it is easy-ish for me to do this, you know, like not spending, because I have very, very clear goals in mind. The goal of I have to self-support, because there's only me, there's nothing to fall back on. And that very, very, very clear goal of moving house and all the expenses associated with it, all the new things I am going to have to buy. You know, the funny thing about the computer, I was thinking about this, I sort of made the decision last night, yeah, that's it, we're getting a new computer. I say we, the royal we, there's only me. I am going to get a new computer, I'm going to bite the bullet. I hate spending money on boring stuff. I hate spending money on a new computer. I hate spending money on a new washing machine. It's all really boring. I want to spend my money on things like a weekend trip down to Dorset, or a load of new books, or some clothes, or a big night out with friends. That's what I want to spend my money on. But I won't. Get myself my computer sorted out, get my move done, and once I've done my move, then you know what, things will ease up a bit. I won't have to be quite so tight. But that's my tip for all of you. If you want to stop spending quite so flippantly, if you like, have a clear goal in mind of say saving for a specific item. If you've got a really clear goal in mind, it's easier. Every time you're about to hand over a quid, think, no, because that quid today, if it's a quid every day you're handing over for something rubbish, that's 365 quid at the end of the year. Is it a leap year next year? 366 this year. I'm still talking about next year. You get the gist. Have a goal in mind. Do your budget. Don't go to shops. That's the simplest thing of all. Just avoid the temptation. And if you are in a shop and you pick something up, what's the mantra? You all know it by now. Do I really need it? The answer is probably no. Put it back on the shelf. Leave the shop. Go do something else instead. Go to the park. Go and hug a tree. Go and sit on a park bench and just watch folk go by. Watch what the dogs are up to when they're playing and being silly. Go home, call a friend, have a natter with a friend. There are so many other things you can do than handing over your hard-earned cash for a bit of tat that you don't need. Alright lovelies, in the next one, I will see you really soon. I'm going to talk about, very specifically about budgeting and how I manage my budget and what I will be doing with it this year. So, yeah, put your purse away. You know, that's the other thing is just don't have money in your purse when you go out. Then you can't spend it, can you? But that also means leave your cards at home as well. You might want to have a fiver in your wallet for an emergency. But these days, everyone's got a mobile phone, haven't they? So if there's an emergency, you can call for help, I would hope. But yeah, maybe just take a fiver out with you in your purse for emergencies. But otherwise, you know, when you go out, make sure you've got a book with you so you don't need to buy a magazine. Make sure you've got a packed lunch with you so you don't need to buy sandwiches from a shop. Make sure you've got your bottle of water, or make your own coffee at home in the morning and fill up your own reusable coffee cup and take that out with you in the morning to go on the train. Be prepared. Don't spend. Save, don't spend. All right, lovelies, until the next one. Cheerio.